Welcome to the groundbreaking for the new softball complex. My name is Penny Peevler. I have the pleasure of serving as the interim economic development director for Frankfort and Franklin County, and it is such a pleasure to be here. You know, a great place to live is a great place to visit. And we all know that Franklin County is a great place to live. And with the investment being made today in the new softball complex, it will be an even greater place to visit. We are in the middle of an economic development strategic action plan for Franklin County. It is informed by Team Kentucky's blueprint for the Commonwealth, which is Kentucky's economic development plan. It's going to have actionable steps for what we need to lean into for our community to be all it can be. That plan will be released in July, but I can give you a preview today and tell you that tourism is in the DNA of Franklin County and has been since the beginning. And it will continue to be at the forefront of what we do here. And again, I want to underscore that by a great place to live is a great place to visit. So as long as we keep making investments in our community as a great place to live, it will be a great place to visit. And so as we look forward into the economic future of Franklin County, sports tourism will be at the forefront of those activities, as well as sports activities for our growing population. What we have to sell on in Franklin County is our quality of place. When I go out into the world and meet with people, and many of you know that I had a career away from here, when I tell my high school stories, as we all do, the specialness of how and where we grew up, running the streets of downtown Frankfort, roaming the riverbeds, setting off fireworks, rummaging through old distilleries, there is a specialness here that is not found in many places. And that's what we have to sell when we go out and tell others about all that is happening here. And so I can't wait for this new softball complex to be open and the world-class design team that we have to help us bring that to fruition. Because together, we all will be showing the world that Frankfort is truly the best of Kentucky distilled. Right now, it's in one small, spirited package, and the character of that will never change. But as we grow in a smart and sustained way over the long term, which is our goal, sports tourism and tourism in general and quality of life are really the things that will enrich us. So with that, I would like to introduce Mark Thompson from the engineering group, DFW Engineering Group, to tell us a little more about this exciting project. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Judge, county commissioners, sports commissioners, and other dignitaries, I am pleased to be representing the design team and give a little bit of background on where we came from and where we're going. So first, the design team started out with Hitchcock Design Group. BFW Markham is the engineering firm handling the site engineering, the electrical, and the lighting. Lighting's an important part of it. We have W3C, who's doing the irrigation, and Williams Romtech, who is handling the site architecture. So it's a great team that we've put together, and this is going to be a great project. It all started back in 2021 when the county commission brought us on board, Hitchcock and BFW on board, and we started working through the community. We did community meetings, we worked and developed a master plan. As I was in Parks and Recreation for many years, you can't do anything unless you have a roadmap. And that master plan is your roadmap for the future. We're getting ready to do phase one, and we hope to work a long time on the future phases of this project based on that master plan. And so with that, I will introduce the Parks and Recreation Director for Franklin County and my friend Charlie Lewis.
Got a few notes here. Thanks, guys, for coming out today. This is a special project. I mean, it means the world to me. And actually, there's my notes. I don't need notes because this is an awesome, awesome project. I've been here for almost 30 years, and we've done little projects along the way with remodels and building a splash pad or putting roofs on barns or just little things like that along the way. But a project like this is instrumental to the community. It's an investment. It's actually it's the reason I've stuck around. I've got enough years where I can retire, and people say, well, what are you doing? I said, well, look what's happening. Look what's happening to Franklin County, not just here, but there's some other things that are going to pop up along the way that the judge will address down the road. But I do remember that meeting in 21 when the county judge, Mike Muller, was a magistrate, and he brought it up. He said, we need a master plan. And he called me after the meeting and said, hey, man, I didn't mean to surprise you with that, but that's what we need. And he was right. We needed to make some improvements because we bought this park in 1991 for $1 million. And now we're getting ready to make a $14 million investment. That's going to, in turn, bring back revenue to this community. It's going to bring people in. They're going to eat in our restaurants. They're going to stay in our hotels. They're going to go do tourist activities, like Penny said. So it's just, I'm honored to be a part of it. I look forward to not only sticking this shovel in the ground, but in about a year to 16 months or however long it is, snapping that ribbon so we can open it up and begin bringing people in and tournaments and letting people come to Franklin County and enjoy what we enjoy every day. You know, it's going to be a regional draw. So I'm honored to be a part of it. I appreciate the court. I do want to say a special note to Duke and the road department. They came out here and in 2 weeks made this disappear, and now so we can get started. They saved us almost $100,000 in demo money, so it's huge. But that's what we do in the county. We all work together. The jail came. We worked with the sheriff's office. The planning and zoning helps us with different things. It just on and on. The fire department comes out and helps us. You know, as a county park, it's not just my staff, which I want to recognize them. They do a great job making this place look nice and neat and safe for the community. But we all work together, all departments in Franklin County government. So I appreciate the opportunity. Judge, thanks for letting me come up and say a couple words. And with that, let me introduce our Franklin County Judge Executive, Mike Muller.
I have to admit, Charlie did a hell of a lot better than I thought he was going to do. There's not much more I need to say. I mean, we could just end right now and go ahead and do our deal. But thanks, everybody, for coming out. This is a big day. I want to acknowledge all the local officials that are here, and hopefully I'll get them all. Senator Jay Williams is in the back there. Thank you for being here, Jay. I'm going to read our fiscal court now. Squire Sherry Sebastian is over here. Squire Kelly Dykes. Where's Kelly? Right there. Squire Mike Harrod is kind of new to the team, but he's doing a great job. Squire J.W. Blackburn is in the back there. We have a Commonwealth Attorney, Max Comley, Jailer Tracy Hopper, County Clerk Jeff Hancock, and our Sheriff Chris Quire. So just want to thank everybody for being here today. It's been what are we looking at? 3 years, we've been working on this, so it's a big day. I want to also thank, in addition to Mark being here representing, but Hitchcock Group, Randy and Shannon couldn't be here. They've been part of this since day one. Yeah, they really have. And, I know Hitchcock Group's a lot bigger than that. They're out of Indianapolis area, but they've been our go-to people, but they couldn't be here. Want to also thank Jim Codell. Jim's been a big part of this since day one. I appreciate you being here, and Mason's our new superintendent. Charlie hit on Duke. Can't thank Duke Wilburn enough and the road committee. When we're looking, Jack Kennedy, where's my Jack? Right there. Jack's right there. So Deputy Judge Jack Kennedy. But when we were kind of looking at numbers, and it's a big number, when people say, oh, my Lord, it's $14.2 million, and it was up around $16 million. Jack and I went and had a meeting with Wes and Jim Codell, and we just started knocking the numbers down. We said, where can we save? We don't want to hurt this project. We want it to be as good as it should be. But we looked at some areas, like Charlie was saying, and, demo was close to $100,000. And, Duke said, we can do that. We'll take care of it. The jailer jumped in and said, hey, do you need some people to help? So she sent some of the SOAR people out here, and they cut all the plastic off the fencing. I am proud to say that they recycled most everything we could. They carefully took all the buildings apart and recycled the metal and things like that. So it was really good. I also want to thank Park Committee, J.W. Blackburn. Since, day one, Park Committee with, where's Scotty? I got it. Yep. And Kelly Dykes is on the Park Committee now, so that's cool. So last night we did a lot of cool things, but we also, it's been 3 years we've been working on the Sports Commission. One of the first thing Hitchcock and pros came back and said, you all need to create a Sports Commission. We said, what the hell is a Sports Commission? So basically what we did was we added a little bit of fee on the hotels, and that's what's going to help fund this whole Sports Commission quality of life. This is just the first piece to the puzzle. This part of it, like Mark said, this is phase one. But we also have other things that are happening around our community that we're going to be extending Franklin County parks. I want to acknowledge the new Sports Commission. Not everybody could be here, but I'm going to go ahead and read the names. Some are here. Ben Spurlock was unable to be here. My man Ishmael, where's he at? He's back there. He's excited to be part of this new Sports Commission. First ever in Franklin County. Matt Harville could not be here, but he's going to be an amazing representative because he's grown up playing college sports and things like that. Raven Turner, there's Raven right there. She's going to be a great addition. Sabrina Gordon wanted to be here, but she had something else she had to be at. Scotty Tracy, and then Allison McCarran. So it's a great group, 7 people. We had a certain way we had to form that through KRS. Want to thank Eddie Jones in McCracken County. He was instrumental. We hired him through Hitchcock Group. He has worked us through this process of how we create the Sports Commission. But what people need to realize is we now have a separate tourism commission and a tourism commission. They will work hand in hand. They are going to be responsible for supporting each other. This is a joint thing. This isn't we're taking this away and we're not doing that. That's not what this is. This is knowing that Franklin County is growing, and now we can handle 2 separate organizations that will work together and make this even a better place to live. Before I read this, I want to acknowledge Tiffany and Rick Taylor. Where are they? Right there. So Bob Arnold's daughter and son-in-law. So I'm going to read this real quick. I didn't know Bob Arnold. A lot of people did. He was the gentleman in my position that bought this park, and it was very controversial at the time. I think it was like $950,000. And I mean, back in 1991, even today, that's a ton of money. So I just want to read a quick little thing. But in 1991, Judge Bob Arnold and the Franklin County Fiscal Court began discussions with the Carter Farm family about acquiring their family farm for a county park. Although the community ramifications of the decisions were high, the judge's vision to provide Franklin County residents with a county park was one of his top priorities. And I will say it's interesting that when he took that vote, it went 6-1. And that's exactly what our court did, 6-1. So I'm very proud of that. Obviously, we wish it could have been a little bit better, 7-0, but you can't always get them. Are you jumping up here a little quick? I still got a little reading to do. All right. Yeah, all right. Yeah, that's good. That's good. So, but Judge Arnold loved to ride through the park on any given Saturday morning and hear the happiness of the children and parents. Lakeview Park has become a staple for Franklin County families and now includes, it was 4 softball fields, a community pavilion, the horse show area, which will hopefully become as another phase, a amphitheater that we're working on next. Walking and jogging track, splash pad, 9-hole par 3 golf course, a driving range, golf, disc golf, dog park, office of the extension agencies, and the Carter House, which is used for a lot of receptions, birthdays, weddings, things like that. But it's also the home of the Franklin County Fair, and I think we don't want to lose sight of that. We're in the process. We're going to be doing some updating of this facility to support the fair, because that is an important part of our community. Let's talk a little bit about the layout. And it's funny, we have some good representatives from Kentucky State University. And I was just telling them earlier, I was telling on myself, because during this whole project we've talked about, this could be the home of Kentucky State for their softball. And that's one of the things when we were looking at designing all this, we wanted the lights to be able to be accessible for it, and the fields have to be big enough. And I thought the other day, and I said, I don't think I've ever talked to Kentucky State about this. So we reached out to them yesterday. We'll be having some conversations, but I know they'll be love to have this as our home field. So, but that's where we are. So Jenny right here, we tried to get it up, but obviously it's too windy. So basically where we're at here, that's where we are now. That's the old fourplex. So we talked about trying to work with what we had, but we couldn't. So we decided to take it all out. This is going to be on the lower field down there, so there's going to be a lot of grading along here to be able to get it, ADA compliant with all the walks and everything. But basically, it's new from the ground up. New lights, new scoreboards, all the infields will be turf, and that's a big thing here. It was a huge expense, but when we went around talking to last couple of years, different companies, Elizabethtown, different parks, they said you have to have turf. If you don't have turf, you don't have anything, because we're getting so much rain. I mean, you all know as well as I do, we're getting more rain than Seattle now. But with the turf infields, they're guaranteed to play. Let's say that. All new benches. The concessions is a big deal. So we worked with Romtech. One of the things when we went to these different communities, we would always say, what did you do well when you built this? What did you do bad? And one of the things that they had talked about that they wish they would have done in E-Town, but they built E-Town a long time ago, is they didn't put fryers in their kitchens. And I said, why is that a big deal? They said, because you can't do chicken fingers, you can't do French fries. Those are the things that sell. So we literally spent the last 3 years, a couple of states, looking at all these different facilities, and we wanted to make sure this one here in Franklin County had everything we needed. So we worked with the custom kitchen designer. Can't remember the name of them, do you? No? Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, yeah, they're from Cincinnati somewhere. But anyways, they did a great job. So, yeah, sorry, I can't remember everything. But it's been a long journey to get here. We have some opportunities like these picnic areas. We had talked about even, being able to see if somebody wanted to pay for them and have their business name on them and things like that. So I do think during this whole process, we've really looked at it from a local level and from an economic development level, like Penny spoke about earlier. One of the regrets I hear about certain communities is they build things and then they don't let their local team sports use them. And this court, from the day one, has been adamant, that locals are going to use it. So the thought is Monday through Thursday, our local teams will be able to use it. And then on the weekends is when the tournaments come in. They're roughly talking, I think, 34 weekends out of the year having this complex scheduled. And that's 700 plus people a weekend in our hotel, shops, and restaurants. So when you look at that from an economic development deal, it's a big deal. I think when pros looked at the numbers, it was over $11 million return on investment in the first year. So yes, it's a lot of money, but when you look at it for the long run, it's a game changer. It really is a game changer. And so I just couldn't, thank you, Jenny. Can't thank everybody enough, but I do want to thank the fiscal court specifically, because without them, this would not have happened. Like I said, the vote went 6-1. We're not going to get into who voted for what, but I think you all could guess. But I do want to go ahead at this time. I want to call the entire fiscal court up here, and let's break a little bit of ground and get this thing off the ground. So at this time, let's go ahead and bring the fiscal court up, and we'll do a little groundbreaking. Are we good? All right, everybody take a little scoop.
This is a big day, boys.
Don't throw it yet. Get yourself a good thing of loose soil. Everybody hold it about halfway up. We'll hold it there. Count of 3, everybody tosses it. Ready? 1, 2, 3. good, or we doing one more? Do one more? Let's do one more. All right.
Get it right.
Somebody show Jimmy how to use that shovel down there. Count to 3. 1, 2, 3. All righty.
That work?